Hello everyone. Firstly, I pay my humble homage to our founder president, Dr. Panjabrao Alias Bhausaheb Deshmukh. I, Dr. Mayura Deshmukh, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Geology, Shri Shivaji Science College, Amravati. I welcome today's honorable guest, Dr. Kulkarni sir, and I also welcomes all the participants who have joined this online guest lecture. And today is Fossil Day. I wish you all of you wish you a very happy Fossils Day. Our today's guest, Dr. Kulkarni sir, will be giving a webinar on paleontology and career prospect. Dr. Kulkarni sir is presently working as a head and associate professor, Department of Geology, Bharatiya College, Amravati. Then he has 13 years experience in UG and 10 years experience in PG. He has awarded PhD degree. The title is The Flow Stratigraphy and Petrology of the Muktagiri Volcanics, Betul District, MP, with Water Resource Management. He has also attended more than 25 conferences and workshops. He has also presented 10 papers in conference, and research papers are 8 papers in national and international journals. He is also life member of Geological Society of India, Bangalore, Indian Geological Congress, Rookie. Then he is also member of Gondwana Geological Society, Nagpur, and Indian Science Congress, Kolkata. He is also member in Board of Studies in Geology, Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University, 2007 to 2012 and 2017 to 2021. He also worked as a paper setter, value and moderator for UG and PG classes. Then also he is a member of Syllabus Review Committee of Amravati University for UG course. He is also worked as a Valuation Officer, Central Valuation Program Center, Santa Gadge Baba Amravati University. Then he has also worked as a selection committee member for the post of assistant professor, and he also worked as a member of mining study committee Vidarbha Vidyanak Vikas Mandal Nagpur, nominated by Honorable Governor. I request today's dynamic personality, Dr. Kulkarni sir, to start his guest lecture. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Okay. Screen is also shared.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mayura, for nice and kind words about me. First of all, I would like to extend good wishes on the eve of Earth Science Week. Now, I am going to start my lecture on the topic paleontology and career prospects. I think the participants are mostly from the geological fraternity, and one or another time they must have been come across the word paleontology. Those who are in first year and those who are in second year, third year, they might have studied it. The first year they might have gone through the subject or the only definition of subject. Now, paleontology and career prospect, I think this is a more relevant topic, and I will be elaborating what is paleontology and what are the different career prospects. I would like to thank Department of Geology, Shivaji Science College for this opportunity. So I welcome all the participants and I start my deliberation on paleontology and career prospect. Now, whenever we use the word paleontology, in most of the cases, students as well as other persons, they come across only one thing, that is about the dinosaurs. Okay, but it is not the case. In general, the paleontology is a part of biology. If anybody say that biology is divided into zoology and botany, but before that, the subject biology, is life sciences, can be divided or can be grouped into two cases, that is neontology and paleontology. Now, this neontology is a study of present life, whereas paleontology is a study of past life. This word paleontology was first given by D. Blanville in 1825, and it was used, or rather than it was started used in geological literature, or it was introduced in geological literature by Fisher von Wildham by 1835. So it was not very old. It was just in the 18th and 19th century, this topic or the subject started gaining certain importance. The reason behind was that while studying the rock formations, many a times at different places, the geologists and geographers came across certain ancient remains which were resembling with the today's animals, and they were preserved within the soft rocks. So they have got certain clues that some past life, the remains of some past life might have been preserved, and they have started using the word paleontology, that is, which is a word, a combination of three words. Paleo means ancient or past, ontos means life, and logos means science. And as all these fossils are related with the rocks, it has become a very fundamental branch of geology. That is why we say that geology is nothing but it is the mother of all sciences, and paleontology is a part of geology, or it is a branch of geology. Here also, neo means new and paleo means ancient. So paleontology is nothing but it is the science of past, that is prehistoric life preserved in rocks. So this word was given by Fisher von Wildham, and later on from 1850 it was completely submerged with the topic geology, and it became the branch of geology. Now this paleontology is studied with the help of fossils. With the help of fossils. This word can be also spelled as a paleontology instead of PALA. It can be studied like this, and it involves the study of analysis of plant and animal fossils. Many times we use the word organisms, as the word organism involves any plant or animal life. So it is the analysis of plant and animal fossils, including those of microscopic size that are preserved in rocks naturally. Please keep your attention on the words here: preserved in rocks naturally, and it is the analysis of plant and animal fossils. The certain terms have been introduced in this definition. It is fossil. Then they should be buried or they should be preserved naturally. Now, these fossils are nothing but they are the remains of plants and animals. Now, this paleontology is very important because it forms the backbone of the study of evolution. We know that the Earth is 4.6 billion years, but right from that 4.6 billion years ago, life was not there. Slowly, the life started from the single cell or the simple forms, and now we are going towards the more complex form. And this is the process of evolution. Again, the history and the history of the deposition of the rock beds can also be studied with the help of these fossils. That is correlation. We'll see further correlation. So paleontology plays most important role in the history of the earth, and it is the source of evidences in support of the theory of evolution. There are different theories of evolution. We know Lamarck theory is there and other theories are there. I will not go in detail, but evolution is the most important, and it is solely dependent upon the evidences given by the paleontology. Now, as we have studied that paleontology is a branch which deals with the study of animal and plant fossils. Naturally, the question will be there, what is fossil or what are fossils? Now, the word fossilus is a Latin word, that is South American Latin word, that is anything that has been obtained by digging, by making some excavation. So the word fossilis is, that is meaning obtained by digging. And the fossils are nothing but they are the remains of plants and animals of past geological periods preserved naturally in rocks. Usually it has been said that these should be from the extinct animals. There should be no direct descendants of these animals. But today's world, we have got different types of fossils. Even some living fossils are also there. So fossils, a simple definition says that fossils are the remains of plants and animals of past geological periods. Now here the word geologic is important. It should be prehistoric. It should be naturally preserved. And this preservation takes place in the past geological ages, and it remains there for a number of millions of years. Now, this fossil is any preserved remains. There may be a impression, there may be some bones, there may be a traces, there may be a imprints, or there may be whatever thing. We say that fossil is any preserved remains. It may be impression, trace of any once living. They should not be living in current ages. They should be of the past geological ages. That is once living thing from the past geological age. So the broad definition includes anything that is the remains of plants and animals of past geological ages. Now, how these fossils are formed, the conditions are there. We know that what is fossil, they are the remains and they should be naturally preserved. So what are the different conditions? Sometimes it has been observed that these animals, they may be any small animal or they may be a very large animal, they may be plant remains, they may get preserved. But how they are preserved is the most important questions. These conditions are known as conditions of fossilization. They are known as conditions of fossilization. And in general, there is one sub-branch of paleontology. I would like to mention it. It is known as taphonomy. Taphonomy. Taphonomy is a science, or it is the study of processes leading to the formation of fossil, or it is the fossilization process. A branch which deals with the study of process of fossilization is taphonomy. Now, for any organism, as I have said, organism includes maybe plant or maybe animal, to be preserved as fossil, there are in general two conditions. They are the broad conditions. They are like this: the organism should have some hard parts, and they should be buried under a thick cover of sediments as quickly as possible after their death usually. Now, all of we know that the hard parts are very much resistant to the weathering erosion, and they are not decomposed very easily. On the other hand, if the animal dies and if it is buried very quickly under thick cover of sediments, what happens? The decomposition of the soft parts is resisted, or it has been stopped. So what happens? The whole of the animal may have a chance to get preserved. But if the animal has got hard parts, sometimes the soft parts like tissues or muscles, they may have been removed, decomposed. The hard parts like bones or teeth, or we can say skeletal parts, may have a chance to get preserved. So these two conditions are there. The organism should have some hard parts. we can use the word must also. The organism must have some hard parts, and number two, they should be buried under a thick cover of sediments as quickly as possible. Because the possibility of any organism to be preserved is more if it contains hard parts. They may be skeletal remains, they may be bones, they may be teeth, they may be nails, etc. And as I have said, the soft-bodied animals or any soft parts may get decomposed because of their contact with the environment. They may be scavenging animals or other animals which feed on these decomposed materials. They can remove these, so it is not possible to have deposition or preservation of the soft parts. So these two conditions are most important, that they should have some hard parts and they should be buried as quickly as possible under a thick cover of sediments after their death. Usually it has been observed that fossils are mostly, we can say more than 99% are related, or they are observed within the sedimentary rocks, which are softer rocks as compared to the other two types of rock, that is igneous and metamorphic. So in most of the cases, the fossils are usually associated with these sedimentary rocks. That is why we have said that thick cover of sediments. Now, how do the fossils form? We have said that there are two conditions. Organism should have some hard parts and they should be buried under a thick cover of sediments as quickly as possible after their death. But how this process takes place? The most important thing is that in fossilization, there is a transformation of animal or plants from biosphere to lithosphere. That means here the animals or the plants are part of biosphere. Now after their transformation into fossils, they become a part of rock, or they become the part of lithosphere. So what is fossilization? I am telling it very short. That is, it is nothing but transformation of organisms. They may be plant or they may be animals, they may be remains from biosphere, which is a living thing, to the lithosphere. For your understanding, I have just given you a picture. You can see that this is the three-stage process. We can see that here there are various mountains, rivers are there. They are coming to the oceans, or they may be coming to the lakes. These are the sediments. This is the bottom. This is a living fish. Now this fish, after its death, has gone to the bottom. And if you observe that the weathering and erosion was going on, you can see the mountains were eroded and you can see their heights have been reduced. So material was transported, that is what we say, the material I am talking, we say that sediments. These sediments were transported by the running water and they are deposited in the oceans and lakes. So surface erosion and sedimentation is there. From this picture, it is clear. These are the sediment, these are the sediment rocks. Now this is a living fish. Now it has become part of lithosphere rock. Sedimentation and sedimentary rocks are formed. And here you can see it has become more or less denuded. And you can see the color of water has also been changed and the thickness of these sediments have been increasing. So here there is a formation of sedimentary rocks. So first, second and third, you can see it was a continuous process. We know that the weathering and erosion is a 24/7 process, and in such cases some sedimentation due to erosion as well as weathering is there. Then there is a deposition, and after the death the animal was buried under the cover of sediments, and later on this process was going on. No, it is not stopped. So you can see more sediments have been brought and these fossils are preserved. So all these process can be summarized in the line or in the word, that is transformation of organisms from biosphere to lithosphere. You can see here it has become more or less flat. The mountains have been gone. So it is a tectonic cycle. Those who are in second year and final, they know the cycle of sedimentation. And after this, there may be a certain tectonic activities because of which these sedimentary rocks may be upraised or they may be brought near the surface, and sometimes we may come across these remains, so they become fossils. So this is a generalized process, but this process involves number of small processes, that is we call them as the stages. We can say that this is the fossilization. The stages of fossilization are as follows. There should be death and decay, and soft parts may be decomposed, they may be scavenged by other animals, and hard parts will remain as it is. These hard parts were covered rapidly, as quickly as possible, by silt and sand, that is sediment rocks, and over time of period, layers continue to build over them, and they will be compressed. We know that there is a compaction and cementation, sediment rocks are formed. Sometimes these remains are preserved as it is, but sometimes there may be a process of permineralization in which organic material is replaced molecule by molecule by other minerals. So the shape and size remains as it is of the mineral, but of the organism remains as it is, but the place of organic matter is covered or converted into the minerals or rock. It has been taken by the minerals. So that is pressure from the covering layers causes hard organic matter to be replaced by minerals. This is not always, but sometimes this happens. For example, those who are in higher classes, they know what is the permeabilization or the process. Can anybody tell? We'll see one by one. Okay, I will not go to there. So this is permeabilization. There is a molecule moved by repletion. There may be a silica, there may be calcite, there may be other things. Now, next thing, how these fossils get exposed. As in my last slide, I have said that there may be a tectonic activities, upheaval may be there. Because of this, there is a movement of earth plate, that is tectonism. These fossils are exposed. They are brought near or on the earth's surface, and we can come across them so that we can get the fossils. So this is the in general process of fossilization. Okay. Now, how we have seen the fossils are formed. We have said that they are the remains. They may be a soft or they may be a hard parts. So because of this, it is not always possible that complete organism, it may be a plant or it may be animal, is preserved as it is. So depending upon what type is preserved, we can classify these fossils into different types, that is types of fossils or nature of fossils. As I have said that in broad sense there are two types, unaltered fossils and there is altered fossils. Unaltered and altered. In these unaltered fossils, complete organisms may be preserved as it is. Actual remains, they will have the complete morphology including their hard parts and including their soft parts. These conditions are very, very rare, and only in certain cases there is permafrost in ice or glaciers or the umber or the asphalt, natural asphalt. These remains may have been preserved. Other types are known as altered fossils. This is petrification. Just before this slide, I have given the word permineralization. Petrification is nothing but a type of permineralization. Here, the outer structure of the fossil remains as it is, but the organic matter is completely removed, molecule by molecule, and its place or it is replaced by the mineral matter. Then other types are known as traces of organisms, and we know that you may have come across the word ichnology. It is the study of trace fossils. These traces may be mold and cast, they may be tracks and trails, they may be burrows or borings, they may be imprints, they may be gastroliths and caprolites. Now, these are the altered remains where the original organism having organic material has been altered. These are traces in which the organic matter was not there. Trace fossils, it doesn't have any organic matter. Otherwise, these unaltered parts may have organic matter. Again, in petrification, we don't have any organic matter. So, two types, unaltered fossils and altered fossils. So, we'll see what are altered fossils and what are unaltered fossils. Now these are the unaltered. What is? They are the entire organism preserved as it is. They are the actual remains. They may be freezing in the ice, preserved in ice. They may be fossils in petroleum springs or asphalts. Sometimes natural tar or the asphalt or the petroleum jelly-like material may come out, and within this jelly-like material, the entire animal gets trapped and it is preserved. Then sometimes we know that the trees, they give resins and umbers, and within these umbers, which is a liquid in nature, after it is when given by the plants, it comes in contact with the atmosphere, it gets solidified, and usually small organisms get entrapped entirely in these umbers. This is the example from the Siberia, and this type of elephant, which is the ancient elephant, is known as woolly mammoth. You can see that woolly mammoth is that on this body of this baby elephant, calf elephant, you can see there are large number of hairs. So woolly mammoth was there during Permo-Karanos period, and whole of its body was covered by the long hairs. It is known as woolly mammoth. And there are again some fossils. I have given one example of some ape-like animals that have been completely preserved. Here there is a mammoth from Siberia, the part of erstwhile Russia towards the North Pole. There is a very large ice sheets are there. So they are completely preserved. Now, as I have said, they are preserved in the petroleum. In certain types of oceans, the corals and shells, they are also found unaltered as it is. We know corals, many times we can get these. So these are the altered part, unaltered remains. A complete animal, including its soft parts as well as its morphology. You can see the complete morphology of these small insects, of these elephants. So these are the very rare cases. The other major type of fossils are altered fossils. And these, as I have said, there are a number of types. One of the most important is petrification. You can see the picture. This is a petrified wood. You can see the structure of the trunk of a tree remains as it is, but it was completely replaced by the mineral. It has become hard. No organic matter was there. So it is a replacement of organic matter by the minerals. There may be a different types of mineral. There may be a calcite, there may be carbon, there may be silication. So depending upon what type of material is there, we can give the different names. I have just given 2-3 names: calcification, carbonization, silicification, etc. So it is also known as petrification. But petrification is derived from again towards petros means rock. It is conversion of organic matter into stones or the rocks. It is known as a petrification. If you visit certain departments, they have got the pieces or the small parts of these. But if you visit the bigger departments like Indian School of Mines in Dhanbad, where the huge trunks of trees from the coal mines of India have been preserved. They are very, very large. Now, these are the altered remains. Number one, petrification or permanentization. Number of traces have been there. We have seen the names. They are molds and casts, they are tracks and trails, boring and burrows, imprints and impression, gastroliths and caproliths. We can see the names are very important because these names are themselves self-explanatory. For example, molds and casts. We know what are casts. Then tracks and trails. They are the traces of living organisms or the dead animals. Activities. Then burrowings and burrows. We know that many of the animals live below the earth's surface by making burrows or borings. Then imprints and impressions. Some of the soft-bodied animals or plant leaves left their imprints or impressions on softer rocks. Then gastroliths and coprolites, these are the fecal remains. We'll see one by one what is mold and cast. So these are the major types, and the study of these trace fossils is done under the head iconology. The word is iconology. It is the study of trace fossils only. So what is mold and cast? You can see this is the mold. Here, these are the molds or cast. Now, the molds are usually of smaller invertebrate animals have been found. When the shell remains and the contents dissolve, that is the hard parts or soft parts are dissolved, and you get the mold, and later on, after some time, the mold is replaced or it has been filled by the fluids or the mineralizers or the liquids containing minerals. They are consolidated there, they get solidified, and after some time, the shape and the size becomes like that of original animal. They are known as cast. In simple word, I can use the Marathi word jala आपण साचे म्हणतो. We have seen that during the festival times, you may have seen there are idols of Sri Ganesha where they have been made under the molds. एकसारखे असतात त्याचे process of Paris टाकून आपण करतो. That is a process that is done naturally. They are upon mold and cast. They are mold and cast. So this is a cast. Next, they are the impressions and imprints. These are the two dimensions. Only they show that these are the paradoxide trilobites. You can see these are the impressions. All the organisms have been already removed. Only their imprints are there. There are two-dimensional imprints, and they doesn't contain any organic matter. Here again, you can see the leaf imprints, and they are from the Gondwana period. Leaf imprints. There are the leaves. Now these leaves, these leaves imprint have been there, and you can see they are very much in details. You can see the midrib is there, the shape, and other details are there. So they give us the clue of the organisms which were lived on the surface of the earth once. So we can say impressions are the two-dimensional imprints of organisms. They are devoid of any organic matter. Now these impressions always give us the clue about their structure. You can see they give us idea about their shapes. They give us idea about the external morphology, as well as they give the idea about their biological activities. And sometimes they may be moving, so they may be show us the trails. You can see these tracks are the impressions of passage of living organisms. They are always moving. So animals move from one place to another for finding or gathering of the food or for other purposes. So while moving from the one place to another on a softer bodies of the softer rocks, they leave behind the tracks. Just as case we see that during rainy season, when go or when walk on a soft soil, we leave behind the impressions of our foods. In the same manner, these are preserved. These are the tracks or the, we can say, trails of the animal. So we can say that the animal must have been moved from this place to another place, and this place, how it has been moved, what is its shape, where it has been moved, it all can be studied from these tracks and trails. And then next is burrows and boring. You can see there are small holes. We have seen that there are a number of organisms which till date live by making burrows. In simple word, I go that way. Now these are the burrows. These burrows are also preserved. Sometimes they may get filled by the other minerals, and they give the shapes and sizes and what type of activity has been done by the organisms. They are termed as borings and burrows, but they should be natural. They should be natural. They should be natural. So these are the trace fossils. Then one of the important trace fossils are gastroliths. Gastroliths are typically associated with the dinosaurs. It has been said that for the digestion activity, dinosaurs used to have large stones as their food. The food along with the stone goes to the stomach or intestine, and churning activity is there because of the woods or these stones, or these stones become smooth and they give out these as a fecal matter. So gastroliths are nothing but they are associated with the abdominal activity of the dinosaurs. On the other hand, caprolites, they are of different types. They are nothing but the excrement, fecal matter of the organisms. And the organisms may take different types of foods. They consume different types of foods. After consuming, after their digestion, they give out certain fecal matter, and this fecal matter of the past organisms was also preserved, and they are known as caprolites. This is the preserved fecal matters. They are naturally preserved. And again, as I have said, these fecal matter sometime may get replaced by mineral, but they show the shapes and they are used as a trace fossils. So these trace fossils may be of these different types. They may be molds, percentiles, imprints, impressions. Why these trace fossils are important? Because these trace fossils give us a complete idea about in which environment they were living, what are their eating habits, what are their locomotion habits, etc., etc. How they are locomoting, how the foods are getting into their stomach. So all this is a part of these trace fossils, and they are very important for the study of paleontology. Now, depending upon this vast branch of paleontology, there are nowadays different divisions. It is a study of past life, okay, but there are different divisions that have been made. Now, these divisions are usually made on the basis of application. As paleontology has got large application in different fields, and because of this, they have divided into different various sub-branches like micropaleontology. It is a study of microfossils. As the word suggests, microfossils, these fossils are very, very small and they can be identified only with the help of microscopes. For example, foraminiferous are there, which are very important in petroleum exploration. Then ichnology, as I have said, detailed study of trace fossils. Only trace fossils are studied. Then palynology, it is related with botany, paleobotany. It is study of fossilized pollen grains. So these I have just given 2-3 branches. There are various sub branches now, and these branches have gained more and more importance. Micropaleontology is a study of microfossils, usually less than 5 millimeter in size. And ichnology is a detailed study. What is the structure? What is the composition? How they are preserved? All the trace fossils are there. And palynology is a study of fossilized pollen grains of the erstwhile flower-bearing plants. Those with botany and zoology, they know what are the pollen grains. So these are the generalized broader branches. Various other branches are there, but I will not go in detail. So these are the major branches. Now, as my topic was mostly related with this scope or the career prospect, because whenever the student are admitted in geology, their first question is that what is the scope of geology? Usually, sometimes they are accompanied by parents and by their elders. They usually ask, because as compared to other subjects like chemistry, like physics, or like languages, or engineering, medicine, the subject geology was not that much popular in our school or secondary level certificate exams. So they generally have a question, what is geology? Most of the students who come for admission, they say that आम्ही शब्द पहिल्यांदाच ऐकतो की असं विषय असतो. There may be a some subject we don't know how this subject is there. So I am very briefly going what is geology, what are fossils, and what are the career prospects in geology. Now, as we have studied that geology is a very, very vast subject. It is a study of earth in all its aspects. What I speak, keep your eye and ears on the word. Geology is a study of earth in all its aspects. It may be a past life, it may be a present, it may be a rocks, it may be a minerals, water, it may be origin, it may be evolution. So it is a very vast subject. And unfortunately, in our Maharashtra and in our country, this subject was not included in a syllabus of school level. There is a subject geography, and within the geography, some part of geology has been taught. And nowadays, if you observe the NCERT books, they have taken so much part from geology, but it is including earth sciences like origin of earth, like history, like geological time scale, like types of mountains, etc. Then types of minerals, types of rocks. So majority of the lay persons, they are not aware that there exists a subject geology with a very vast subject. As I have said that many times, we say that geology is the mother of all science, and it can be related to any other subject. You can know geology can be related with any other subject. If it is related with chemistry, we say it is the geochemistry. If it is related with biology, we say it is a paleontology. If it is related with political science, we say it is a geopolitics. Okay. If it is related with economics, it is economic geology or mineral economics. So you can see it can be a very wide subject. And this geology, as I have said, there are various branches, and paleontology is one of the important branch. But we must realize that if you want to make a career in paleontology, there should be a certain basic qualification, that is postgraduate degree in geology is must. Up till now, in India, there is no any course which offers PG degree in paleontology, but they offer postgraduate degree in geology, and you can opt for this. And those students who have offered geology as one of the subject in their undergraduate, they can go for these post-graduation courses. And in this post-graduation, there are certain universities which offer paleontology as a specialized in your second year class, that is paleontology. Another case is that after PhD, you can go for research or for PhD degree. So when we have got at least PG degree, we may say that we are ready for career prospect in paleontology. So what is the thing? PG, that is postgraduate degree in geology, is must. As we have said that this paleontology has got very wide scope in different fields of earth sciences, and nowadays even in medical sciences also. You might have been known that nowadays even forensic paleontology has also been there as a part of medical geology. I will come across, but there will be time constraint. What is forensic paleontology also there? But the major branches in which without paleontology you cannot do are stratigraphy. It is the study of depositional sequence, and in stratigraphy we know that the correlation is the most important, and for this correlation, fossils are the most important thing. We may have come across the word index fossils and zone fossils. These are the fossils which are used for construction or building of the blocks of the Earth's history. So in stratigraphy, we may call them as a biostratigraphy. Fossils are most important. So any stratigrapher must have the knowledge of stratigraphy. Then evolution. As I have said, the base of theories of evolution is fossils. Unless you don't have different types of fossil, it is not possible to have the theory of evolution, which that this theory is unidirectional. That is, we are going from the simpler forms towards the complex forms. On what basis we say that we are evolving? We say that by studying the fossils, that such are the trends of evolution. For example, we say that the man have a, yes, anybody know? It is evolved from the apes or the ape-like animal. But why we say that the ancestor of modern man is ape? Because of the study of different types of fossils. Then geography. In geography, fossils are also important because in geography, different categories are there. There may be a climatology. We can study the past climate. We can have the paleoclimatic study, or what type of climate was there, what are the pattern of rains, etc. Then another important is ecology. This ecology and this environment is nowadays getting much more importance. So we study paleoecology and paleoenvironment as well as paleogeography. What is this paleogeography? What are the different positions of continents in the past? What was their climate? How the environment is changing? What are the different evidences that there is a change in climate? We can know that those who have studied the stratigraphy, they know that in our India we have got most important stratigraphic formation, that is Gondwana, the Gondwana supergroup. And we say that this Gondwana was once a very large landmass which has been broken down, and today we get the fossil, that is plant fossils of Gondwana period in 5 different continents like Antarctica, South Africa, Australia, India, etc. etc. So why we can say this? Because of this study of stratigraphy and this paleogeography. Then this anthropology is also important, is related with evolution. In evolution, we study the evolution of almost all the organisms. They may be plants and animals, whereas anthropology is related with the evolution of man, modern man. As far as the applied part is there, in oil and gas exploration, paleontology plays the most important part, and that to the micropaleontology. You know that oil, it is petroleum, and coal itself are termed as a fossil fuels. And we know that we call them as a fossil fuel. And because of this, in oil and gas explorations, the study of paleontology is very much important. In other areas, it is also important, like archaeology there, then museology, it is museum, science of museum. Not in our country, but there are some few national museums, but in foreign countries, large museums have been there which are devoted to the earth sciences. And within these museums, there are a number of fossils that have been kept. So the upkeep of these fossils and their identification involved in this museum science, that is museology. There is a word curator who takes care of these fossils. This museology, this stratigraphy and evolution also involves one important part which is common in botany and zoology. It is known as taxonomy. What is the meaning of taxonomy? After you get some fossils, you have to identify it and you have to classify it according to its morphology, whether it is a vertebrate, whether it is invertebrate, then which phylum it belongs, what is the class, what is the family. Up till now, there are a number of organisms that have been placed in the taxonomical order. So in museology, this taxonomy is also involved. We have to view not only the name of that, but zoological and botanical name, its class, its family, etc. etc. So these are the broad, only 7 branches I have said, which are much more in need. That is stratigraphy, evolution, oil and gas exploration, anthropology, etc. But for all these purposes, one should keep in mind that PG degree in geology is must. There are certain universities which offer the advanced courses in paleontology that I will come across. Now, depending upon this, as I have said, stratigraphy, environment, oil and gas, museum, one can say the person having different knowledge in paleontology can work at different places like mentioned on this slide. These are the broad categories of paleontologists. We can say the study of fossils, fossil of animals with backbone. We know that there are vertebrate paleontologists. It's a specialized branch. It deals with the animals having vertebral column. Usually, we come across the fossils of vertebrate animals like elephant, like horse, iccus, Kalamatopan, then the dinosaurs, etc., then humans, etc. So then comes the invertebrate paleontologist. It deals with the small animals, mostly the animals which does not have the backbone. Now, in your BSc classes, we have studied invertebrate paleontology. These are the small insects which doesn't have the backbone, and many times they doesn't have the internal skeleton. They possess these outside skeleton, exoskeleton. And it is also very important because it has been observed that it is very difficult to get complete fossils of vertebrate animals. Instead of that, if we get invertebrate paleontologist, he can identify the small animals and we can get the complete morphology of this animal. Next, as I have said, micropaleontology. Micropaleontology is completely associated with the animals of very small dimensions. Usually, these fossils have the size less than 0.5 millimeter, and we use microscope. This micropaleontology is most important in exploration of petroleum and gas. One of the most important advantages of this paleontology, micropaleontology, is that, as I have said, that it is very difficult to get a complete animal or the complete skeleton of animal or a complete hard part of the animal preserved. It is very, very difficult. On the contrary, in a small sample of rock, we can have a complete microscopic animal or microfossils. So it is advantageous to study this fossil in a complete manner, and for this purpose micropaleontology is most important. Now these vertebrate paleontologists and innovative projects have to work in field so that they can identify. These micropaleontologists usually get the samples from the core samples after making drill holes, bores. So they have to spend their time in laboratories under microscope, and it is very tedious job of micropaleontologists. Now these are the major. Then there are number of cases, that is paleobotanists. They study only the plant fossils. Like wood, leaves, flowers, seeds, etc. And this branch is known as paleobotany. This paleobotany is important because these plant remains usually contain higher amount of radioactive carbon, and for dating purposes, these samples are very much important. So paleobotany is very other important branch. Then, as I have said, in micropaleontology, a small sub-branch is known as palynology. This branch is very narrow, and we can say it is very super specialized branch which deals with the study of pollens and spores. It is with the botany persons, pollen grains and the spores of the plants. They may be living or they may be fossil form. It is also very complex because all the pollen grains are of microscopic or rather than smaller size, and we have to study them under microscope. But these pollens and spores are much important for stratigraphy, for correlation. They give us idea about the succession of the deposition or the sequence of deposition of the different beds. And for correlation also, we are depending upon these pollen grains. Then paleoecology. What is the ecology? It deals with the ecosystems. What was the climate? How was the climate in the past period? We have to reconstruct the theories of this, and we can get the idea of paleoclimate as well as paleo-environment. What are the conditions of temperature and pressure? What are the conditions of living habits? What are their eating habits? All they are studied, and ecology or the ecosystem can be studied. It is related with environment. We have know that there are different types of ecosystem. For example, pond ecosystem or desert ecosystem. So depending upon this ecosystem, different sets of animals are there, and they may get preserved in different ecosystems, and we may find out that in the past the environments or the ecosystems might have been different. The best example, as I time and again, is the Gondwana. Time and again I am elaborating is the Gondwana system. If you observe the present day position of Antarctica, it has got very cold climate, but till it get the fossils or the plant fossils which are found in the central India. So how this was possible? So we can say that either the ecology in the past of all these Gondwana land, that is India or Antarctica or Australia, might be similar, or all these parts may be a single land mass where the environment was also similar, and under that environment only certain type of plants were there. Later on, this landmass was broken down, Panthalsa, Pangea, Gondwana system, and there is a continental drift. We have studied it. So this building up of history can be done with the help of this. So it is also important. Now, biostratigraphy. It is biostratigraphist or biostratigrapher. This branch or this biostratigraphist is the man who studies the vertical distribution of fossils in rock, that is according to their position from bottom to the top in the sequence of deposition. In the sequence of deposition, we have studied stratigraphy and stratigraphy. We have read there are principles. Number is principle of order of superposition, that is vertical distribution. Number of fossils. It has been observed that if we get one kind of fossil in one bed of rock, it has been observed that no other fossil is there, and on the above and below there these sequence of rock, we get different types of fossils. So it is evolution and the distribution is different. Such type of fossil we call them as a index and zone fossils, and by which we make the correlation of rock beds. So this vertical distribution is most important in stratigraphy. As I have said, one principle, that is the order of superposition, how the beds are deposited sequentially. Another important principle in stratigraphy is the faunal succession. These fossils are evidences in the sequence of deposition, how the beds have been deposited. We said Archean at the bottom, then there is a Precambrian, then Cambrian. How the deposition takes place, it is because of this vertical distribution of fossil, we can get the stratigraphy of any area. Now, another important branch which has become sub-branch is a paleoanthropology. It deals with the prehistoric humans, because we say that humans or the man is the most intelligent animal nowadays, and it has got a power of thinking and power of communication, etc. But it has been observed that it does not came at one stroke. There were number of stages in prehistoric man. You can see the geological time scale, and only the humans are such that they can stand on their legs. We call them as a Homo erectus. Otherwise, all the organisms usually use their two front and two back, 4 legs. But humans have been such that they have started to stand erect and they can maintain the balance. But this, all the travel or the history, right, from the 4-legged animals to the 2-legged animals is not in a single day. It was a complete evolutionary trend, and this is studied in case of humans under the head prehistoric man. We call them the Homo erectus. Homo erectus. We can stand and we can run also. So these are just 9-10 branches or superficial branches, but one thing should be kept in mind, that for all these you require postgraduate degree in geology. As I have said that although there are the different branches, all they require the basic thing, that is degree in geology. And then you can develop your habit of studying different branches, or if you according to their interest, and you can opt for different these branches. But one thing is always there. Okay, the students will ask, sir, सगळीकडे सांगितलं पण हे jobs कसे मिळतील? The thing is that there are different central government organizations that offer career in paleontology, but it is not a paleontologist, but you will get job as a geologist, and in this geology you can opt for specialization and you can get different specialized branches. For example, Geological Survey of India. This is a major branch of geology in India which deals with all aspects, and in this Geological Survey of India there are different divisions, like petrology division, like paleontology division. So if you have got interest in paleontology after entering in the Geological Survey of India through UPSC examination, you have to pass the UPSC examination, which is common for all, And once you get in Geology of India, you may opt according to your liking, according to your interest into this paleontology section or paleontological division, in which you will be totally devoted to paleontology. Now, next is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. As I have said that in this Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, the branch micropaleontology and paleontology are most important because oil and petroleum and coal are the fossil fuels. For studying the different environmental conditions, the microfossil, the study of microfossil is most important, and this is done under this. As I have said in Geology of India, in Oil and Natural Gas Corporation also, there are paleontology division, there are microbiology division, and there is a paleontology division. And depending upon your interest, after going through the MSc Geology and other, you may enter into Oil and Natural ONGC, and you may go for the different sections. Then Department of Anthropology is there, which deals with the evolution of man. Then there is one institute known as Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleobotany. This is completely devoted to the paleobotany, that is plant fossils. It is situated in Lucknow. It is a central institute, and here those who are interested in botany, they can go, and it is completely devoted to the plants, that is fossil plant. They study all the pollens, they study the flowering plant, but they should be of the ancient or the past type. That is Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleobotany. In Maharashtra, there is one Agharkar Research Institute of Voluntary Research, which is situated in Pune, which also deals with the study of fossils. There are major institutes in Maharashtra where you can visit and you can see they study the different fossil locations in detail in India as well as in Maharashtra. So here also you can opt and you can go in these Birbal Sahni Institute or in these Agharkar Institute as a research scientist. They have got their examinations. Nowadays, some examinations have become common, like NET and SET. And if you have qualified this NET and SET, you can go for this. For ONGC and for GSI, there are separate examinations. ONGC conducts its own examination. The Geology of India examination is conducted by UPSC. And as far as the prospects are concerned, these GSI and ONGC are offering very high perks as well as salaries. These two organizations offer a very handsome salaries, and they also offer the various perquisites like field visits or like that. So they are offering very high salaries. But as I have said that the competition is there and you have to appear for All India examination. And this All India competitive examination is there, and it involves not only the paleontology, but it involves the complete subject geology, right from mineralogy, crystallography, paleontology, petrology, etc., etc. So you have to appear for this examination, and these are the institutes which offer somewhat specialized career in paleontology. In addition, one can opt for various competitive exams. Nowadays, UGC and CSIR and other central regional organizations, they conduct the All India examinations like NET or GRF, that is Junior Research Fellow, Senior Research Fellow, which work on various research projects. If you pass this NET examination, you can apply for various universities where number of projects which have been going on, there have been sanctioned by the central institutions are going on, and you can work as a GRF or SRF. Another very lucrative opportunity in paleontology, which most of the students are eyeing, is the teaching profession. For teaching profession, you have to either pass the NET, which is a national eligibility test, or you have to pass the SET state eligibility test. And after that, sometime you may have PhD, but nowadays the PhD is not that much necessary. NET and SET examinations are very important. Again, as I have said, this NET and SET is not on this subject paleontology. It will have a complete subject of earth science. In these NET examination also, you have to opt for the other branches like environmental or like agriculture, etc. So teaching profession is also very good, where you can go for either UG level in the accredited colleges or PG level in different universities. But for that purpose, NET and SET is compulsory. Now, some of the students were asking whether there are any advanced courses in paleontology. No, till date we don't have any certificate or any postgraduate, post-PG course in this paleontology. But there are certain central universities which have got advanced schools in earth sciences, and they have got the special paleontological laboratories and advanced divisions of paleontology like Banaras Hindu University or IIT in Punjab University, Chandigarh, where there is advanced school of these paleontology is there, where you can, after post-graduation, you can make a contact, you have to pass the NET and SET, and if there are some projects are going on, you can join them as a SRF or JRF. So, and during this period, they may teach you certain advanced techniques in paleontology. For example, how to find out the fossil. For example, how to classify this fossil. For example, how to preserve the techniques of preservation. How to mount this fossil. How to separate the microfossils. Different advanced scientific techniques are there, and they are taught by these universities. So, but for all this purpose, as I have said, these two conditions are most important, that is post-graduation in geology and either NET examination. So if you pass this examination, there may be more chances. Instead of SET, you can opt for NET. This NET is very common, and you can opt this NET for teaching or as a JRF and SRF, so that you can go in any type of either teaching or in the research. Now, in addition, these are, I am talking about the organizations like teaching and central government. You know, there is a new atmosphere in our India regarding the exploration. Economy has been opened. So, during last season, last 4 or 5 years, the field of coal and petroleum and gas exploration has been open for the public organizations. And you may come across that there are different companies which are opting, and they are taking the large contracts from the government for development of these coal and petroleum blocks. One example I can quote, you may know that Krishna Valley oil field, which has been done by the Krishna Godavari KGF Krishna Godavari oil field, which has been developed by the Reliance. Then you may know that they have given the name Dhirubhai Ambani gas field. So private companies are also coming in the field of oil and gas exploration as well as coal exploration. In just last 2-3 years, you may be going to the newspapers that the coal blocks are also offered for the private companies. Now, for the development of these coal blocks or the different mines or the development of oil and gas, different multinational companies, national companies like Reliance, Adani, Vedanta, Hindustan Oil Corporation, then there is one Australian company known as Cranes. They have been there in India. Now, all these companies, they offer a job for paleontology because they are related with the oil and gas or this coal exploration. So, these also offer some jobs, and there are other companies also. I have given just the 4 or 5 names. If you go to the net, which is available, you can get number of companies which are there in oil and gas companies, and even they are offering the jobs to general paleontologists as well as specialized paleontologists like micropaleontology or paleontology. If you have got a zest for field and you have got a very much knowledge, very good knowledge of fossil specimen, you can collect number of specimens and you can sell them or supply them to various organizations. Those students who are regular students, they may know in our laboratories or in our museums, number of fossil specimens are there. Usually, all these fossil specimens have been purchased from the private collectors. There are a number of organizations like Geology Syndicate in Kolkata, like Bharat Supplier. So, what they do, they collect these various fossils from the field. They identify them, they clean them, and they supply these fossil specimens to colleges or various university departments as well as various other organizations. So this is a private job, but it requires good knowledge, thorough knowledge from where the fossils are to be collected and where we get the fossils, how to clean them, or how to identify them, and you can supply them. Even you can export them also. There are a number of companies, just I have given you 2-3 names. Geological Syndicate is there, which is a better supplier. Indian fossil specimen supply company is there. So they can supply the fossils. In addition, in last 10-15 years, because of the Environmental Protection Act, number of private sites as well as government sites, there we have found out the fossils have been developed as a fossil parks. There are a number of fossil parks. In these fossil parks, you may get the job as a curator, because at many places these fossils were not being taken out from their original positions. ते ज्या ठिकाणी जसे आहेत तसे ठेवले आहेत, त्यांना फक्त थोडंसं क्लीन केलेलं आहे and they have been preserved. So there are a number of fossil parks like Indroda in Gujarat, then Salkhan in Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan, West Bengal, Balasinor. This Balasinor has been many times shown on the television also. If you have gone through this, Balasinor is a fossil park and it is a private park. It has been maintained by the erstwhile king. Balasinor, Gujarat pasun, Ahmedabad pasun 55 kilometers there is a place, and there was a erstwhile Nawab. Nawab of this Balasinor, he has developed, and he has not only developed this fossil park, but he has developed ecotourism also. He has constructed a small hotel, and number of Indian as well as foreign enthusiasts which are more interested in these dinosaurs come and stay there, and there are 10 geologists or guides which show the conditions of fossilization and different types of fossils that have been preserved in the rock. So such jobs may be there. In addition to there are then in Rajasthan, Sthalanur is there in Tamil Nadu, where we get the plant fossils. There's a Shivaji fossil park in Himachal Pradesh. Number of fossil parks have been developed, but unfortunately all these mostly are the government, and the government has not opted for a trained or the specialist person like geologist or paleontologist. They have given only caretakers, but according to the needs, some trained paleontologists should be there who can take care of these fossils. So this is also one of the job opportunity. If some students may ask, what are the opportunities outside India? Okay, these are more or less similar, like professor or teacher, but in foreign countries, the norms are very strict, not net set, but you require PhD and you require active research. You require active research. Unless and until you have got active research, you are not eligible for this teaching profession. Then research specialist. There are a number of opportunities where you act as a research assistant or research associate. As I have said that in Western countries, there are large life sciences or natural museums. They call them as a natural museum. In these natural museums, to upkeep all types of fossils, the geologists are required, the paleontologists are required. So, in foreign countries like Australia, like UK or USA, in large museums, paleontologists have been appointed. Now, this museum research or collection manager, it has been said that whenever you collect the fossils, it becomes the property of the nation or the government. So such fossils are sent to these museums where they have got separate research laboratories within the museum where these fossils are cleaned, their proper identification is done, their classification is done, and in which class is to be collected is done. It is done by the museum manager or the research collector. Then prospector. What is prospector? Who do prospecting, private prospecting for coal, oil or other cases. This is known as prospector. In foreign countries, you can take a license and you can start your prospecting business. Then state or national park ranger. As I have said that in foreign countries, there are various national parks. And within these national parks, there are number of geological or natural museums are there. They are not complete museum in four walls. They are open natural museum, and the care of this museum was taken by these natural rangers. They are known as rangers. They are not taken just like the museums in India. They are what the park ranger, who is a caretaker, and he knows how these fossils are there, what is the age. He gives the information. There may be a national or there may be a state, and then paleontologists are paleontology as a principal investigator. In European countries or in abroad, the research specialist can opt for a investigation of various different paleontological sites where he can go and he can investigate the fossil content, and he can use his knowledge to give the idea about the different types of fossils, what are their origin, what are their ages, etc. Then last is a paleoceanography and climatology. This is nothing but the construction of past climate or paleoceanography. What are the places or what are the positions of past oceans and life? We know that if you have studied geology and you have been remembering in your first year class, we have said that there were only Panthalsas and Pangaeas, one landmass and other is the whole water body. Now, how this water body has been divided into different oceans, what are their temperature pressure conditions, what are their physicochemical characters, all is studied under this paleoceanography. Then there is a paleoclimatology. Generally, I give the example regarding this climatology, paleoclimatology about the monsoons in India. How we predict? Can anybody know? We predict the monsoon, that this year in India monsoon will be good, this will be bad, by studying the past climates. We have studied, we have recorded the what is the rainfall, what is the day temperature, not only of the area but of the different oceans, different areas. You may be knowing the words like pH of the ocean water, that is chemical conditions of ocean waters, etc., of different oceans. And by compiling all these information, like the temperature, pH, salinity of the ocean, then what is the climate of that ocean, whether there are cold currents, whether there are warm currents, how the wind direction is there, all these studied under paleoclimatology, and we can build the proper model so that we can have the present as well as future investigations. In addition, I have said that medical geology is also there, and this medical geology has become nowadays a very good prospect because we know that there are different minerals which are used in medicines. Again, nowadays there are different areas like different fumaroles or different hot springs. It has been observed that by using the water of these hot springs, we get rid of certain diseases. So we can develop this and we can use the knowledge of paleontology in this. I have just mentioned one topic, that is forensic paleontology. What is the meaning forensic? It deals with the study of past cases of the death of animal, how the animal died, what are the conditions, whether there is a what is the condition of its blood, what are the muscles, how it has been happened. So even this forensic paleontology has been now used in our police departments, whether there is a murder or like that, you collect the samples and you can give some idea. It is a recent branch. So all these branches have very much importance, and sometimes they also offer very good salaries and perks. So I think much of the time is given. I will stop here. Okay. If you have got any queries, you can contact me through your head. If there are any queries, you can ask me also. Okay.
So some
Yes.
questions are in chat. You
Okay.
can
Okay.
take those questions.
Yes, number of questions are there. For example, some have said that how paleontology is related with geophysics. Now, geophysics and paleontology, they are different subjects. Okay, geophysics deals with the physics of the earth by using various properties of the earth like magnetism, like electric conduction, etc. etc. So more or less, this geophysics is a very much different branch because paleontology deals only with the fossil, that is remains of plants and animals. Somebody has asked about the microfossil study in oil resources. Now, this application of microfossil analysis become a very vast subject. You can go through the net and you can find out that microfossils like foraminifera, radiolaria, pollen grains are very important in oil and gas explorations. They give us idea about the paleoclimate and the succession, which areas to find out the oil and gas. Next, somebody has asked about good books on paleontology and Indian stratigraphy. First of all, basics has to be studied. Like there is a book by M.S. Krishnan, Indian Stratigraphy of India and Burma. You can go through this book. It is a very good book, basic book of Indian stratigraphy. Then book of Ravindra Kumar is there. Then from paleontology, the basic book I will tell about the Anantaraman and Jain. Then Ravindra Kumar is there. Number of books are there. And for structural geology, you can go basic. First, I always insist on going rather jumping towards the higher goal is not important. You must know the basic. There are certain books which are known as Bibles for geology, like the book by this stratigraphy of India and Burma, then structural geology by Billings or by Park. You go through these books. Then Rutley's book of mineralogy, it is also basic book. You go through this book. Now, very good question is there. Paleontology has been regarded as a dying science in India. Many famous paleontologists agree. Now, it is not a dying, but as I have said that nowadays there is a outsourcing. Instead of doing research by oneself, we outsource, and many of the scientists have done their job. Many of the private companies have collected the data and they sell this data, so I can get the data ready-made. So without making certain moves, if I pay something, I will get the data and my job is done. So instead of going in field and finding, what I do, I just outsource it and I will get this ready-made data. But one thing should be kept in mind in geology: the location or the areas where these fossils or other things are found must be verified. Verification is most important. Okay. Which department of India hire more science students as a scientist? No, there are a number of organizations. You can opt for I said GSI, CGWB is there, MUCL is there. As I am not talking about other branches, I am just related with the geology. There are various branches. I think in last 2-3 days you have gone through this. Luckily, we are living in central India, and Nagpur has got one of the center where almost all divisions, central division organizations have got divisional offices. Even some of them have. And for that purpose, not only of petrology, not only of economic geology, you have to study almost all branches of geology. For example, we come across many of the students. If we ask them after completion of PG, have you studied crystallography? They just know the name of crystallography. They doesn't have basic knowledge of crystallography. They just say that we have studied crystallography in our BSc first or second year class. We don't know what are the classes, what are the 6 classes, what are the 32 divisions, etc. So we must have in-depth knowledge. Yes, for publication of journals, you can contact your head of the department as staff members. Okay. So any other problem? What is the most important in paleontology? I am not getting it. What is most important means? What is most important? Paleontology itself is the most important branch, and basic knowledge of geology, stratigraphy, petrology is needed because fossils are associated with rocks. If you doesn't have basic knowledge of rocks, it is waste. Okay? Okay, shall I stop?
Yes, sir.
Because number of questions are there, and I think already time is over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, looking at time instance, we'll stop over here. Thank you very much, Kulkarni sir. It was very impactful and valuable lecture. Thank you to all the participants for joining us today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Kulkarni, sir.
Okay, thank you
So much, sir.
Okay, welcome. You can.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
We are feeling enjoyable.
Okay, thank you. If you have any queries, you can go through your come to meet your through your head.